The following is a RackRadioShow.com exclusive.
And welcome back to the Rack right here on WildTalkRadio.com, brought to you by our friends over at Wrestling Figure Wednesdays. Go to youtube.com/MBG1211 for all your stop-motion wrestling action figure needs. And I'm super excited because joining us right now is the man with many hats, including his trademark cowboy hat. He's a TV show host, father, WWE legend, and now the author of Wrestling for My Life, The Legend, the Reality, and Faith of a WWE Superstar. Available now at fine bookstores everywhere. Please welcome WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're super excited to talk to you about your wonderful new book, which I know I thoroughly enjoyed reading. I hope everybody else enjoys as well. And I have really just kind of several burning questions, but one in particular that I have to know.
Right.
And that, has the building sold yet?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, again, it's all right. This is when you know it's the Lord. I felt like I have to give you a little setup here. Obviously, you have to read the book to know what the deal is with the building, but I felt as if telling that story in this book would honor the Lord and that He would deliver us from that building. And on December 31st of 2014, that building sold.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, we had a gentleman on December 1st make an offer, and then a couple of days later, another gentleman made an offer and lowballed us on a figure, but said he'd pay cash. And we said, well, no, we've got another offer. And he said, okay, what are they offering? And we told him, and he said, okay, cash deal, and we'll get it done by the end of the year. And, of course, 4 years and counting, that thing has been like an albatross over our heads, and it sold on the last day of the year. So just an amazing thing.
That's a pretty cool way to close out 2014, I have to say.
For sure.
And you're opening 2015 with your wonderful new book. And I'm curious to know, because I know what I took away from it, but I'd like to get your insight into what you would like people, both Christian and maybe non-Christian, to take away from reading your book.
Well, I have to tell you, as I stated in the book, I'm obviously no biblical scholar and certainly not a pastor. I'm just a guy telling a story of what the Lord did in his life. But I've learned in the power of the testimony over the last several years, and so I'm just hoping that if I'm a guy that sort of stands there amongst many people and raises their hands and says, hey, just so you know, I went through this, I had this problem. It's okay to say you struggled here or you struggled there. That it'll help other people do the same, where they'll feel more comfortable knowing that it's okay. We live in especially in the WWE and that world, it's a world that obviously doesn't deal in a lot of truth, and there's always wearing a mask, so to speak, and just for a bit, being honest with oneself and saying you need help and admitting to that. And that's not something that's looked upon as real strong these days, but you'd be surprised at what it does and the strength that, one, it takes to do it, and two, the strength that the Lord gives you to move forward past it.
Well, that's a wonderful message to share, and definitely picked up on that. And one of the other things that we kind of definitely picked up on as well is that you kind of when you went back into wrestling, I should say, you sort of reformed friendships and you actually created new ones. Isn't that correct?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
So kind of what has it been like for you to sort of gain new friendships, especially with people that maybe didn't like you in the past, like The Undertaker?
Nothing short of spectacular. And that's, again, probably it's always a toss-up about the single greatest thing about my salvation. But one of the things my faith has taught me, that that everything in our lives is about relationships, and to have the opportunity to be given a second chance with these guys, especially again guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Undertaker, guys that gosh, we weren't necessarily friends or we hung out or anything like that, but we had a mutual respect for one another. But obviously, because of the way I was before, it drove a wedge and didn't give us an opportunity to have more than just, again, that professional respect that you almost sort of have to have.
Right.
And having the opportunity to go back and form real friendships with those guys, and more importantly, to have or to be at a point in our lives where I can say, hey, I'm going to do this book, and it's in an area where you guys may or may not be real comfortable with. It's about my faith, but I want to be transparent. I want to be open. I want to be honest. And if you can, only if you can be open and honest about me, would you write a dedication or would you write something? And I want you to be painfully honest, and it's okay. And because I didn't want people, so to speak. I could have reached out to my friends, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and my wife and kids and Keith Mark, people that know me and I know will write nice things about me. But I wanted these guys that could truly give a real assessment of the before and after. And honestly, the things they wrote almost brought a tear to my eye. And the fact that they said, no, not only will I do it, but I'd be honored to do it. And that just meant the world to me, because we have traveled some tough roads, these gentlemen and myself, to get where we're at, and now to have a friendship and a real relationship that goes so far past and beyond the wrestling business and even sort of the silliness that business brings to your life. It's nice to have something real and solid with those guys, and again, couldn't be more thrilled about that.
And that's absolutely wonderful to hear, I should say, if I could speak. And just as you're kind of going back down memory lane, do you have a fond memory from maybe the past few years or even before then that you'd like to share about those guys?
Well, the irony of, I think, even with both of them is, one, Steve and I had big differences. He was the guy that I was dropping the championship to at WrestleMania 14, which was supposed to be the last match that I ever had because I'd injured my back and I was told my career was over. And then to, again, all these years later, to have him be one of the guys that wrote a foreword in this book, and to be a guy that we talk on a fairly regular basis about hunting and our deer programs and our ranches and stuff like that. And then, of course, with The Undertaker, that's the guy who I ended up ending my career with, my actual wrestling career. I had my last two matches with him, and they were just so off-the-charts spectacular. And we brought a lot of our real-life aspects into it and my faith into it, and it was just a wonderful thing. And it's an amazing moment to share those very real times with those guys, and that's been, as I said, nothing short of spectacular. And those are just two, I guess, fairly long-winded but quick stories about those two guys in particular.
I know we don't have a lot of time with you. I'd love to spend more time talking to you because you just sound wonderful to speak with. So I'd just like to thank you so much today for coming on and speaking with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate the kind words.
Once again, a big thanks to Shawn Michaels. Everyone go check out Wrestling for My Life, available at fine booksellers everywhere.